Welcome back. So, in the last one, I was talking about personalization versus copy and paste. And I said some salesperson try to send the same generic message to everybody. And it is very bad. Because in the first 7 seconds, they have decided if they want to keep talking to you. So, your hook can be similar. Because what? You are trying to solve the same problem. Because if you are solving the problem of helping business owners increase their sales, you are going to have to message people who have similar problems of complaining about sales. So your hook can be the same. But in some cases, you can make it personal, like pointing to something specific about what you see in maybe their post or something that they put out online. That way, it will grab their attention to want to listen to what you have to say. So now, in the continuous conversation, you have to make it as personalized as possible, because this is when they are deciding if they want to continue the conversation or not. Now, do not bring up what you want to sell. That few seconds, let it be as if you are having a conversation, like you just want to understand them. Then let them now be the one to want to make you feel like, okay, now what do I do with all these things that are going on with me? That is your cue to now say, we actually help people like you solve this problem. That is your cue. If you don't have to, this thing that I'm saying now is not a long conversation that is going to last you 1 hour. No, it's just going to be a conversation that goes back and forth. And if it goes well, you would see that the prospect will now be the one that wants to know, okay, what do you have for me? That is when you pitch. And when you pitch, you're not going to say no, you're not going to be too salesy. It will be as if, now that I've understand your problem, this is what we actually can do for you. The next one is curiosity that ends a reply. A message that makes them want to know more. Curiosity. You have to when it comes to, some people, recently, I saw a message pop up on my email, and I was so curious to go and check why. The subject was like, oops, you haven't checked this. And I was like, okay. And I went to check it. Something like that for email outreach can be something you can use to bring people attention to read. And now when you bring people attention to start reading, in the first few, what you are saying in the first line should be very, very, very captivating, because you want to keep them wondering what is next. Trust before the pitch. Outreach is where trust starts, not where it already exists. Doing outreach is where your trust starts. It is not where it already exists. The thing is that most of these people that are doing cold outreach, they do not know you. They do not really care what you have to say. They do not care. But that is why it is very important that you build trust. That is why I always emphasize being personal. Because one thing about being personal is that people feel like, oh, you know them. You know them. You understand. You are trying to understand. You're trying to help them with something. They'll not see it as being salesy. They'll see it as, this person kind of understand me and they want to help me. And that is exactly what we want our prospects to feel. Building trust during conversation. This is where trust actually gets built or lost through how well you listen, not just what you say next. And I say it because, in the first class, we did misconception we had previously in sales. And when I gave you an assignment, a lot of people were saying, oh, one of the misconceptions they had in sales is that you have to be a talky person when you are in sales. And I said that in sales, what you do most is that you listen. Because we want to pick in the things that we are actually going to use. So you need to listen. So one of the skill that you need to have in order to be able to sell actively is to listen actively. Listen. Listening will help you ask powerful questions. Because you listened, you are able to pick things that you will use and ask them, okay, if this is how would this be for you? Listening will help you ask powerful question. Some of us do not know how to listen. So when we listen to people, we listen and link it to how we can actually help them. So when you listen to them, you are thinking about the next outcome that thing that they just say because. So powerful question, listening will help you with powerful question. Empathy, not desperation. Some salespeople are screaming desperation. Yes, we have targets to meet. But some salespeople are always very, very desperate. So sometimes you need to be a little empathy. So that is why if a salesperson say something, what you do is not to say, well, it's not to brush it off. It's not to brush it off. What you do is that you acknowledge what they have said. In that way, you are being empathetic. You acknowledge it, and what follows is actually making them understand why that will actually work for them. So for instance, now when they say I don't have money, you can say I understand. Just to acknowledge, I understand. But if you don't do this now, this is what it will cost you. Shey you get? If you don't do this now, this is what it will cost you. Would you want to lose this because you don't have money now? Or would you want you to will you want to do it later? So these are some things that you have to say. So to not sound desperate, you need to make them see the clear picture. That is why you are the salesperson. You need to make them see the clear picture. So mirroring their style. So you need to mirror their style. The reason why you are listening is for you to ask powerful question, and you need to mirror their style. If you listen, you start mirroring their style in order for you to be able to flow with the conversation and make them understand. The goal is becoming a trusted advisor, not another salesperson. So let people see that this person came to help me. This person came to solve my problem. This person came to do this. This person came to do. I'm so grateful. Let that be what people see when you talk to them. That is what actually close a sale. Not when you are trying to be so desperate. When you are too desperate, I think you can just talk to people anyhow. People do not care that you are calling them, honestly. And there are a lot of salespeople out there that call them every single day. So what makes you different is how much you listen, personalize, ask powerful question, the way you are empathetic and not just desperate to just rush to the close. Handling no the right way. I have said it before. There are some statements they say in sales that does not mean a rejection. It is a redirection. It is information. It might be telling you something about timing, trust, or price. A skilled salesperson read it and adjust instead of walking away or taking it personally. So let me give you a very good example. Put yourself in a situation where you have said no to somebody before. So let me give you an example of movies. If, for instance, if you are watching a movie and someone comes to ask maybe person A question, maybe person B came to ask person A question. The moment person B asks person A question, they'll have like a loud thought that'll say, I don't want to do this because I have an engagement tonight. They'll not say, no, I can't make it. What they said out and what is going through their mind is different. As a salesperson, it is your job to find out exactly what is going through their mind in order for you to be able to complete your sales. So put yourself in a situation where you have said no before. That is movie, but it happens to us in real life. In most cases that I have said no to people, there's actually a reason why I have said no to people. People might not ask, and sometimes I feel like I do not like owe them an explanation. But if people truly ask, if you truly ask 100 people, 80 to 85 people are going to tell you the exact reason. So let's say, for instance, you are talking to a person and they say no. Can you say, what exactly is making you say no? When you say what exactly is making you say no, they'll start telling you because of this. Then you start saying, it's because of the price issue. It's because they have an engagement later. So no is an information. It is a redirection. So that no, it is not the answer. It is not the rejection. The final answer is that thing that is in their mind. And it is your job as a salesperson to bring it out. Just like when they say it is expensive. So you're going to ask them, what exactly makes you feel like this is expensive? Is it because of this? Is it because of that? This is just an example. So the point is that you need to always ask questions, powerful questions. And sometimes if you never ask questions, you would never know. So that is why questions are very, very important. So for today's assignment, you have to put it into practice this week. So you are going to send 20 personalized outreach messages this week. 20 personalized outreach messages. I've taught you the pitch. So now you are going to be the one to choose your product. You can, and if you cannot choose your product, you can use the BizFem. So you're going to send messages. You are going to write down how many messages sent. If it's 20, fine. Replied, received. Do you actually get replies? Maybe somebody maybe said hello, hello, and that was how the conversation ended. Conversation started. So let's say messages sent 20, reply received 15, conversation started 5, meeting book 2. I want to see how effectively you can actually develop a conversation. Now, the point that gives you the mark is the conversation starter, because the psychology plays when you actually start the conversation. I want to see if you were able to hook them, make them want to find out more, and how you were able to ask the right questions, and how you were able to start conversations. That is exactly, so the point of this assignment is the conversation started. So make sure that put it into practice. Don't forget, in sales we sell outcomes, we listen, and we ask the right question. Then analyze why messages perform better than others using the principle from this class. So you are going to analyze why, oh, this didn't work, this worked, this is why this worked, this is why this worked. The reason why you are doing this, you are doing it for yourself, you are doing it to understand. And the reason why I keep giving you practical assignments is because I want you to actually be in the field before you actually graduate, so that you understand everything. Because most of these things that we are teaching you, if you do not put it into practice, it never really gets, you never really understand because you are not into it. But when you are practicing it, every single thing that you have listened to today, you start understanding it. That is just it. Key takeaway: people don't buy because you have the best products. They buy because they believe you understand their prospect, trust you, and see you as the best part to the outcome they want. That is just it. When people say, when you ask people and they tell you, oh, because my product, they start selling you features. Then my product is the best. It actually is durable. That is not why people buy from you. People buy from you because of the outcome most of this time, and because that outcome is a result of that product actually solving their prospects, because they are trust you from the conversations that you have had, because you are trying to understand them, understand their problem. That is why people buy from you. It is the experiences that make them buy from you. It is the clear picture. Imagine if they want to sell light to you and somebody tells you, imagine a world where there is no darkness. Imagine a world where there is no darkness, where you can walk around and everywhere is just bright. In a place where there is no light, that is somebody selling you the outcome. They are not selling you the features. They are not selling you the process. They are not selling you the benefit. They are telling you what will change for you when you actually do that. And that is exactly why people buy from you. That is why a lot of businesses complain. It's because they don't know how to sell outcome. Why should people buy food from you? Because they are hungry. What you solve is hunger. So that is why we need to emphasize that. Why should students order from restaurant? Because students are busy and they don't have time. What you should actually be selling to them is that timing that they don't have, that time, because they are always busy. You sell them that ordering actually saves them the time of not cooking. That is outcome. That is not you trying to sell them the features, the benefit, or the prospect and process. You sell outcome. We have come to the end of this class, so don't forget to turn in your assignments. I hope you understand the classes. If you don't understand, please drop your question in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, because this is where your consecutive classes will be holding. See you in the next class. Bye.